Listen, man, if you're questioning God's plan for your life and why things are just completely a mess and all over the place, and maybe you feel like God is leaving your side or God's not really coming through for you, he's not hearing or answering your prayers. It just seems like, you read his word maybe, or you've talked to him, and maybe you just know that, hey, God's supposed to have a plan for my life, right? God's supposed to have a plan for my life. But what the heck is going on? Things are a mess. Things are all over the place. I don't know where to go or what to do. I'm telling you, man, this is one of the coolest lessons I've learned this time and time again, but I just recently learned it so good. And God just taught me it like so hardcore to the point to where it really hit me how great God works, especially for us men, right? And being a man, right? We have these big goals and dreams and aspirations. We want to do something great with our lives. We want to leave behind a legacy, and that's absolutely awesome, right? That's awesome. But hey, if I'm stuck in this mess, if I'm lost, if I'm confused, if I don't know what God's trying to do or what God's trying to say, I barely even know where I'm going. What's going on? What's going on? You may look forward and all you see is just a swervy, curvy path, and you look backward and you just see all these loops and stuff, and it just looks like a dang mess. It looks like a dang mess. What you've been through in your life has just been a dang mess. What you're currently going through is just a mess. But this is how I learned God works. It's so fascinating. It's so interesting how God works, because what we perceive to be a complete mess, right? We're looking forward ahead at the path of us, and there's swerves and curves all over, and there's loops. We're looking back at the path behind us, and it's just a complete disaster. It's a complete mess. We destroyed the path. And things are just a mess. And we're sitting there thinking to ourselves, well, God's supposed to be perfect, right? If God's supposed to be perfect, shouldn't the way our lives work out supposed to be perfect? And the stuff that I'm going through, shouldn't it be like all working in perfection? And you know what's funny is that, yes, it is. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't feel like it. You see this path in front of you, you look behind you, and it's just a complete dang mess. But you know what's great about God is he takes that mess that we perceive. We as humans look at it as just a big old mess. Like, what is going on? What is happening? And then we cross a certain threshold along that path. It may not have been yesterday, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but at some point, we're gonna cross a certain threshold in this path. We're gonna come across a certain point in this path, and we're gonna look back, and we're gonna see this perfectly straight line, and we're gonna look forward, and we're gonna see this perfectly straight line. And it's gonna hit you so hard, and you're just gonna think to yourself, like, this entire time, I thought my life was just all it was a complete mess, and yeah, it was, but God, when I wasn't even looking, or when I wasn't even paying attention, he just made that path straight. I didn't even see it happen. Like, what? And even if you did see it happen, it happened so fast where you didn't even really have time to process it. Because I tell you what, throughout my life, I've gone through a lot of stuff, man. A lot of weird and hard breakups, weird relationships. I've gone through hard financial times, financial instability, moments where I was staying up at night and I was sweating and my heart was pounding and I couldn't sleep for the life of me. And actually, it's kind of funny because even last night I was just up, literally kind of stressing about my future, and I also felt really sick too. I felt like disgusting. I might have eaten something bad or gotten some kind of bad food poisoning. But I was up and I was just stressing about my future and everything, and I was stressing about, oh, what do I do? Do I take this path? I thought I knew the path God had for me. I thought I knew it. But now I'm kind of thinking otherwise. I'm kind of thinking, hey, what if I try this thing, or what if I try this for a couple of years, and then, okay, eventually I want to move out of state too. That would be nice. Or eventually I want to, there's so many things that I would love to do with my future, right? And looking back on my past, my financial instability, my hard times, my financial mess, my weird relationships, and my like really out of the ballpark breakups, and all the fights I've had with my loved ones, and all the rough times I went through, from being a little nerdy kid who was always picked on to being someone who hated himself and had zero confidence in himself, and was just this really small, weak, skinny kid, and and no one respected him, and like, I just look back and not even to mention all the addictions I've struggled with, not to mention all that, right? And I just look back at this flipping messy path. It was such a big mess, man. And I looked forward thinking that, oh, it's just going to continue to be a mess. And yeah, there's going to be some messy times. But God hit me hard today, man, because like it was right at this, I was just in the middle of working, out of nowhere I just stopped, and I finally understood with my future. Like, I finally understood. I'm trying all these different things, I'm putting in all this work and effort, and that's great. but it's like it just hit me at once that even though I'm putting in all this work and effort, right, which is a great thing, I'm going to continue to, but it's not up for me to decide where my future ends up. It is, at this point, it's up to God. It has been up to me, yeah, but I want to do there's a couple different things that I want to do, but I'm just not sure what path to take. And so you know what I do? I try them both, and I go all in on both paths. I go all in, actually, in like all three paths. I go in all the paths that I want to take in my future, and I just said, God, whatever you will, hey, let that path work out, because I can't control what happens with each path. I can give it my all, but I can't guarantee an end result, right? And the fact that I want to try all three of these different things, and I mean, even a couple other things in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, that would be cool if I could try, that would be cool if I could try this. But it's gotten to a point in my life where I've realized, there is no one path or another, or it's not, like, as of right now, it's not just one path that I have to choose. As of right now, I'm feeling passion for the multiple different paths that I have in my mind. And so I'm just going to go all in on all of them, and whatever one works out, man. And I looked ahead at this messy road of all these loops and curves, and I have all these different paths I have to choose, and I'm like, oh, I've just been stressing. Which one should I go with? Which one should I stick with? And when it hit me that this is not one of the, like, yeah, there's going to be some times in your life where you have to choose a path and go with it for certain things, maybe not necessarily your entire future, but maybe it's a certain problem, or maybe it's like, maybe you had a really great date with two different girls, and you're like, oh shoot, man, should I, oh man, but which one can I see myself with the longest? Oh, they're both such great girls, right? You try 2 dates again, oh, they're really great. You try another date with them again, oh, they're both really great. You can't have both, man. You can only you can only choose one, right? And that might be a situation where you have to choose one or another, but in my instance, this messy path that I was seeing, it was just so many different paths and so many different curves of it's going to be kind of a messy road no matter which path I go, but I was just thinking, I know it's going to be a mess no matter what, but which one do I choose? And so I got to walk all of them, man. I got to go all in on all of them, and whatever works out is what works out. And if God does want me to, drop one of those paths, or put a road closed sign or a dead end road on one of the paths, then I will. But as of right now, like, I'm not feeling him. I'm not feeling him tell me, hey, you got to put a dead end road on this, a dead end road sign on this road. No, this is not one of those times where I feel I got to choose one or the other. This is one of those times where I got to test all of them and then see where God ends up. So the bottom line with this whole story, right? And this just hit me today, and I just looked at the sky, and I'm like, oh, I was in the middle of work. I'm like, thank you, God, for like this realization. I appreciate this. This is what I needed all along, and I didn't even know it. I didn't even know that I could, I just thought all this time I had to choose one, and I had to choose one, but little did I expect you just to hit me at this right perfect time and, basically tell me, hey, you got to go with all of these. So the point I'm trying to make here, right, is when I look back on my past, my financial mess, my hard breakups, my bullying, my zero confidence, and yet all those dilemmas, all those problems and hard times I went through, I realized God was just trying to teach me something. God was trying to, God taught me about confidence, that confidence isn't acting like Mr. Tough Guy. Confidence is just being certain of yourself as a man, right? Of the kind of man that you're supposed to be. And when you get closer to me, hey, I'm going to tell you the kind of man you need to be. That's how I'm so confident in myself, because I'm doing my best to listen to what God says and not necessarily what my desires or what the world says. So I'm certain of myself, and I'm confident in myself. Back when I was bullied and picked on and stuff, God was just trying to teach me like, hey, it's going to happen, but don't let it get to you, man. You got to pray for your enemies, and, stand up for yourself, for other people at a good normal level, right? That's what I should have done at least, but pray for your enemies, bro. Don't hate on them. And I look back at all the people who used to pick. I mean, I kind of just laugh and smile. I'm just like, man, I can't believe I actually went through all that. It's crazy. It was that long ago. Like, wow. And I prayed for them, man. And then even with my breakups, right, and my weird relationships I've gone through, God's taught me the kind of girl that I should be with and the kind of girl I shouldn't be with. And with my hard financial times, right, not even being able to sleep at night, you know what God taught me? He taught me how to be smart with my money. You know, he tried to tell me at first, but I didn't listen, so he had to show me the hard way. He tried to tell me what kind of girl I was supposed to be with at first, but I didn't listen, so I had to learn the hard way. He tried, you know, like he tried to teach me all these lessons, but because I didn't listen, he had to show me the hard way. And so I look back and I realize that those hard times were actually just blessings in disguise. That's just him making me into a better man. So all that mess, that big messy path in the back, right in the back of me, behind me in my past, I perceived it as just a complete mess of my life, right? But in reality, it was actually God's perfect plan falling into place for my life. And I look forward at my future thinking that there's a bunch of messy paths, and yeah, things are going to get messy, but God's going to straighten it out when the time's right. And so what have I learned from God? What have I learned here? That God's plans for you in your life, it may look messy, it may feel messy, it may be messy in a season, but that's actually just God working his magic. You know, a mess needs to be created in order for perfection to be the final result. Not that your life is going to be perfect or you're going to be perfect, but God's plans are perfect. And what we perceive as looking and feeling and seeming imperfect in a mess, God's actually looking down and saying, oh no, this is perfect right here. You see it as all these curves and these loops and this big old mess. That's not what it is though. It's actually just a complete straight line. Because each and every day you're waking up and living another day and you're walking the same path in life. You're walking the path of life. That's the path. So even though I'm trying out these multiple different paths in my life, I'm still walking the one same path as you and everyone else. The path of life. The path God has given us, the path of life. Right? And we go through those hard times. We get run over sometimes. We hit those bumps in the road. We whatever. Things happen, man. Messy things happen. But God uses our mess and our mistakes to fulfill his plans. I can't, it's almost mind-blowing how God works, man. Sometimes I just thought to myself, I screwed up God's plan for my life. I screwed it up. The only way you can screw up God's plan, you can't. He's God, man. You can't screw it up. But the only thing you can screw up is your relationship with him is if you choose to walk away. And if you choose to walk away from God, I mean, how do you expect him to fulfill his plan for your life? And how do you expect to build a better relationship with him? You know, God can do it, but it's also up to you to build a relationship and walk his path too, man. So no matter how messy your past may seem, right? You may look back and see this complete mess, all these curves in the road, all these bumps, all these divots, all these loops and whatever. Your path may look like a mess. You know what God sees? Perfect straight line, right? Well, I don't want to be speaking for God, but what God created out of our mess is a perfect path because it's his perfect plans, and our lives are not perfect and we're not perfect. That's not what that means. But what it does mean is no matter how messy we make our own lives, or no matter how messy things get in our lives, hey, God can make it all perfect. God's plan will prevail. Even the Bible says that. You know, a man has plans in his heart, but it is God's plan that will prevail. So the bottom line, man, is, you know, don't look back at your messy past and be ashamed of it. Don't look forward to your possible messy future and think how it's just going to work out. Just keep walking with God. Keep taking his hand and letting him lead you, and just going through the storms, going through the hard times, going through the mess that's ahead of you. And realize that even though you may perceive it as a mess, it's actually just God's perfect plan falling into place. No matter how messy it gets or looks, God's going to take that path and make it straight, you know? And you'll have those come to Jesus moments as time goes on, right? Like, again, you know, I was so worried about my future for a little while, but then today it just randomly hit me that I had like that come to Jesus moment that, whoa, you know, even though my future may look like a mess, hey, you know, God's working in this mysterious, perfect way. It may look like a mess, but what I perceive as a mess, it's just God's perfection. And I just gotta follow God, man. And I just gotta do what I feel he's telling me to do, and that's try all these different things, right? So just keep walking with God, man. And as Jesus says in his word, you know, you may not realize now what I'm doing, but someday you will, right? So you may not even realize what he's doing in your own life now, or even tomorrow, or even next month or next year, but someday you will realize it, and you'll look back and say, wow, that entire mess was actually just meant to build me into a better man and fulfill God's plan for my life. Just keep moving forward, because if you stay still, you're just delaying everything, right? Take God's hand and let him just lead you. Keep moving forward and let him lead you. moving forward. No matter how scared you are, no matter how tough times get, no matter how much of a mess it may be, just take God's hand and keep moving forward with him. And I'm telling you, man, just like his word says, he will make your path straight. Just like his word says, his plans will prevail. Just like his word says, he has plans for all of us to give us hope in the future. So don't be scared of your messy past or the messy looking future or the messy looking road ahead. Just take God's hand and let him lead you through it, man. And one day you'll look back and realize it was never, it may have been messy, but God made it into a straight line. Because that's just how he works. He takes all of our messes and mistakes and everything that we screw up or do, and he just makes it, he just makes something great out of it. He just makes blessings out of it. Because he's just that darn good. So yeah, that's my message for today. For us men. Never question or doubt God, no matter how easy it seems. The road ahead looks messy. You feel nervous and scared and anxious. It's so easy to doubt God, right? But one day you'll realize that it was all just part of his perfect plan. It may not seem like it, but it was. And you'll look back at the road one day and realize how straight it actually was the entire time. You just got to keep moving forward and trusting God. Because what we perceive as a mess, what we perceive as, a messy past or a messy future, God has other plans. Perfect plans with all that. So don't doubt him. All right, let's get to this workout. Let's go. All right, what workout do we got today? We got push. So this is probably one of my most basic workouts, not the push itself, but the fact that I'm kind of out in this more open field. I love choosing different locations every day. You know what? If you like working out outdoors, it is such an adventure, man, to choose different locations every single day. Even if you were to go to some really cool hiking place around you, right? And you take a little hike and then you just start doing your workout. That's what's so great about calisthenics or bodyweight workouts. You can do it anytime, anywhere, man. You don't need any equipment. You don't need anything. You just need you in the outdoors, you in nature, right? And yet you could still build a good chunk of muscle. You really could. You could still get in shape and really hit your fitness goals. That's what's so great about it. So yeah, push-ups. Push-ups. Because I want to do some that hit chest, right? So if you want to hit chest, the kind of push-ups you want to do are just regular push-ups or wide grip in order to hit the outer chest, close grip to hit the inner chest, decline push-ups, which is where you would have your feet on kind of a platform, so that way you're kind of bent down, right? And your feet are upward. And that's going to hit your lower chest, decline. And then for incline, you'd want to have your hands on a more higher up platform, right? So that way you're on an angle like this, and boom, you're hitting your upper chest. Those are just different kinds of variations of push-ups you can do to hit chest. And if you go to the gym, hey, you got the good stuff. You got like benching, right? Benching is really just a push-up in reverse order if you think about it, because instead of bringing yourself down, pushing yourself up, you're bringing a barbell down and then pushing that up too. And even if you have the angle where you're sitting on a slope for incline like this, you hit your upper chest. Decline, you're on a slope where your feet are in the air, and you bench it, you hit decline. Regular benching, it just hits your chest as a whole. Wide grip benching hits your outer chest. Closer grip hits your inner chest. So really, push-ups and benching are the same kind of movement, same kind of form. It's all just bring it down and then push up or outwards. Both have the close grip, which hits the inner. Both have the outer grip, which hits the wider grip, which hits the outer. Both have the decline stance where it hits the lower, and then both have the incline where it hits the upper. So, I mean, benching is just push-ups in a reverse form, where instead of using your body weight, you're just using regular weight, right? And this just goes to show how calisthenics / body weight workouts and the gym can both build muscle, because they're the same exact thing. One just uses your body as the weight, and the other just uses weights as weights, or barbells or dumbbells as weights. And same, shoulders. Hey, I'm going to be doing some shoulder push-ups too. They're called pike push-ups, where it kind of looks like an awkward position, but when you do it, it hits your shoulders and your traps. Whereas if you did shoulder press, it's that same kind of movement where you're kind of doing a push-up with your shoulders and it's hitting your shoulders and your traps. So So all these gym workouts match very, very closely with calisthenics. All these calisthenics workouts match very, very closely with weightlifting workouts. So it really just goes to show that weightlifting or calisthenics, they're both good as long as you are pushing hard, right? You're not doing kind of sissy sets, right? You're not doing half reps, or you're not doing a few reps and, ooh, I'm tired, I'm just gonna give up. No, you keep pushing until you can't push no more. Now, when you can't push no more, don't try to do even more to try to like act like Mr. Tough Guy. When you can't push anymore, stop, so that way you're not gonna hurt yourself. You don't want to go one side of the extreme and overdo it to the point where you hurt yourself, but you don't want to go to the other side of the extreme where you're not doing as many as you can because you're feeling tired or whatever. Point is that when your body's saying, hey, we're done, you listen to it. Ironically, it pays off to listen to your body when you're training your body, versus listening to your mind, which is just going to tell you to either give up much sooner than you should, or it's going to tell you to keep going even though you can't push anymore because you're feeling extra motivated. When it comes to training your body, it's better not to listen to your mind, but to actually listen to your body. It's kind of an interesting concept if you really think about it. So to just push hard, man, right? Do the full extensions. Don't do little half reps or anything. Do the full reps, the full extensions. You don't got to crank them out super fast. You can move quickly, but still, you don't got to crank them out like there's no tomorrow. I mean, still enjoy the process and make sure you're doing the right form and everything. Make sure you're doing the full extension. Full extension, right form, push as hard as you can. Listen to your body. You don't stop when your mind tells you, oh man, I did a few and I'm feeling a bit sore. No, you stop when your body says, hey, I can't do no more, we're done. When your body's telling you, hey, I can do one more or two more, you listen to it. When your body says, I can't do anymore, you don't bring out your Mr. Extra Motivated, Mr. Tough Guy, and I know my body says I can't do anymore, but I can do one more. No, you can't, because now you're gonna hurt yourself. When your body tells you it's time to stop the set, you listen to it. And then when your body tells you it's time to stop the workout, you listen to it. Really interesting concept. Listen to your body, not your mind. I mean, you are training your body after all, so let's go, let's get this.
You've been knocked down and got up again. In a corner, you're surrounded, no defenders. You've hid your fury and kept it in, but it's time now you ignite and turn to embers. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes.
All right, man. Good workouts as usual. And now it's time for a good Bible reading as usual. So let's go back to the car and read a little verse. Let's go. Don't forget, let's just read it right here. And I'm gonna be finishing Matthew very soon here, but for today, I just want to do a flip to a random page and point out a random verse and see what God's word has in store for us. So, a random page, a random verse. What do we got? Did you bring me sacrifices and offerings? 40 years in the wilderness, people of Israel. You have taken up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your god, Rephan, the idols you made to worship. Therefore, I will send you into exile beyond Babylon. Well, I didn't really get too much meaning out of that, at least for this time. A lot of times when I do that, I'll tend to be like, oh yeah, like I'm hearing that, you know, I'm feeling it. But I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really get that much. But hey, you know, maybe it means something, and I'm just being a dummy right now or something, or maybe I'm just not being fully focused or something. But hey, yeah, if that got you in any way, hey, let me know. But that's what I'm gonna be doing after I finish off Matthew, which we just got a few more sections of that to read off, and yeah, then I'll be doing that more often. I really like doing that, you know, I really liked it. Even though he'll have some days where it's like that, where it's like, what? You know, it didn't really speak to me, but it is pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool concept though. And I also got a Bible app on my phone, which gives me a verse every morning. And sometimes I'll just, you know, I'll read my Bible on my own during the day. So, I mean, hey, getting a good taste of God's word. Don't want to overdo it, but getting a pretty good taste. So that's all that matters. Get the kind of random verse, right? That a lot of the time it hits you. Sometimes just kind of whoop, like it did with me today. And then you also just got your regular reading, which is pretty good too. Anyway, this has been the mission for today. So that being said, I have a free community down below. If you want to go check that out, possibly message me, meet some like-minded people, some like-minded bros, check it out. Other than that, hey, got more of this came from, so stay tuned. But this has been our mission for today. So now it's your time, man. Time for you to go become that great man that God is calling you to be. And I'm going to be doing my own thing too. So let's both go forth, becoming the great men that God has called us men to be. And I will see you tomorrow to continue our mission. Peace.